exposed the belly, exposed the intimate part that should be seen only by a lover or husband. She'd learned how to wear the petticoat low on the hips, how to lean forward accidentally on purpose and let the pallu slip just a little. She admired the uses to which women put the sari, how they wore it without underwear, slept in it, bathed in it, used it as a towel and comforter, and the convenience to simply lift it up if you wanted to pee or if there was a customer. But she looked at herself in the burqa and understood that this was something very different. The tools were fewer. Only the face was visible, only the feet and hands, and because everything else was covered, a glimpse of eye or mouth became something tremendous and powerful. And the blackness of it, the gradation, the way the fall of the fabric was different on her breasts and her hips. She wondered at the men who designed such a garment, how much they must have feared their own desire. To want a woman to wear this thing, you had to know the danger that lay in looking. You knew it, and you knew your powerlessness, and you dreamed up a costume to conceal the cause of your shame. But the costume only served to punish you further. It made you want to pluck out your eye, pluck it out and hold it, pulsing and sinewy in your hand, and offer it as some inadequate token. This is from a chapter called The Intoxicated Entity. It's set during the riots of Bombay in 1992. It was 1992, which meant that she'd been living in the apartment on the half landing between Rashid's Khana and his home for almost 10 years. And though she had come across his family on the stairs or in the neighborhood, a cause of apparent distress to his wives, who lowered their eyes and walked on without a word, she had never been to his home and knew nothing about his family life. He rarely mentioned his wives, and if he did, it was to complain about some trivial domestic matter as if they were employees and he was disappointed with the quality of their service. She wondered if he spoke about her in the same way, and if he spoke about her at all. His wives kept his home running, laundered his white shirts, and made his food the way he wanted. She, on the other hand, had no official standing. She could not bear children or cook. All she could provide was sex and conversation. The sex, at least, he couldn't complain about. She knew, because that had once been her job and she'd been good at it. He didn't have complaints, but she did, though she had no one to tell them to. He had an aversion to touch, to any kind of friendly touching, and cuddling was out of the question. He didn't like to be seen with her in public. He took too long to come. Sometimes, when they were fucking, she thought of a story she'd read in which the plague arrived to a town in Europe. You sneezed for a few days and died, just like that. As soon as people were identified as sick, they were bundled into carts and taken to the cemetery, where they were dumped, alive, to await burial. In the carts, the men and women fell on each other like animals, not stopping even when they were seized by the handlers and flung onto the cemetery grounds. It seemed to her that they, Rashid and she, fucked in the same way that the plague-ridden couples did, in a frenzy, to the death. This is the bit that I'm going to add a